Hello, Rimfire friends. It is Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Man, I can't believe we're almost in April. I just wanted to film a quick update video. I know I had some packages on my last one and I talked about opening them up, and well, I opened some of them up, but I just dove right into the project. One of the things that I talked about earlier on was like I had some plans and some ideas, and one of those things was a spillover from my 457 build that you guys never saw because COVID hit and sold and traded it off, that sort of thing. So when I built this one, a lot of the things that I had planned and wanted to do, I'm doing to this one slowly. So one of the things that I wanted to do was full length ARCA style rail. And based on the kind of idea of this build being more a budget kind of DIY build than anything else, as most of my stuff is, I of course went the non-Area 419 variety and went with just an Amazon style rail. And for a few different reasons, I don't have anything against the 419 stuff, but it's extremely expensive in Canada, and I think this will suit my purposes fine. I've actually seen quite a few 419 rails in person, and just like these guys, they get all banged up, and so this has the ability to be changed out on the cheap if it gets bent or wrecked, and away you go. They're all made out of machined aluminum, so the Area 419 have a nice ratchet system to lock it in place, and that's pretty cool. I can't see myself really taking full advantage of that for the style of shooting that I'm going to be doing, but maybe I'll find out that I do. So one of the things that this gives you the advantage of, and I noticed at the first match I was at, it gives you the ability to slide your bipod, okay? Depending, like if you're shooting on top of a barrel, which we were, you can drop your bipod this way, or slide your bipod this way rather, and make a nice stable platform rather than hanging over the end of the barrel. So that's something that, as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, I had planned that for the 457 and I could see how I wanted to do it. So the part was actually on order, which was kind of funny. It just hadn't come yet. And also the main thing for me is it gives you the ability to drop your bipod and then put it back on, which I did a stage with no bipod on a ladder. And the bottom, just so I could fit in better. And then the bottom, I just use a shooting bag because I didn't have a bipod on there. So if I was able to click it back on, that'd be pretty awesome. But anyway, so I'll take it off for you guys and I'll show you the bipod separately, but so I drop everything. So this is basically an Amazon rail that I specifically chose to fit the two front stud sling swivel stud screws on the Manners. So these are the factory locations, and I drilled the single hole here. Not for any reason in particular. I just didn't, want to unnecessarily drill holes. So there is one here, two here for the factory studs, and then I drilled here. And then it makes it more, symmetrical, I guess, because it's at the end of the rail here in the slot rather, and then here. So they're kind of evenly spaced. And then, like, I could have put one here, but I just didn't see the point for this sort of thing. So I drilled the hole here, and drilling a hole in a stock like this is nerve-wracking as it is. So actually I enlisted the help of my lovely wife to make sure I had it lined up properly to mark it for me, because I probably would have started drilling before it was totally straight. So I made sure that I was totally straight, and of course, being my wife, she said I wasn't and fixed it for me, so I appreciate that. So what I used some stainless hardware, and Manners uses these, they call them T-nuts, basically. You can call them, I think they're called in Canada flange nuts. Oh no, I'm totally wrong. T-nuts. Basically that's the size. 1032 by 5/16, and believe it or not, when I did this project, I happened to be in the hardware store, and I was like, oh man, I needed this, so I picked them up, just guessing on the size, and it actually was correct. So I just went on visual, and these are kind of cool because the Manners, this is the Manners sling stud, and I apologize for my filthy fingers. Just got finished with this project, but they thread right in. So this is the factory sling stud, and this is one of the leftover T-nuts. So they came in a little package of two, and they're pretty awesome. And so I'll put some pictures up showing, because I have it back together now, but I'll show you the pictures here. And so that's what they look like. Basically, they drilled a hole here. T-nut bites into the composite stock, and then it's basically like a threaded insert. And then from the exterior, it's super smooth. You just have these nice little holes. And then I know they make, if you weren't going to run a rail or studs at all, you can get little filler screws, and they make a nice flat. So it's not reversible, but it's easy to change. And you'll probably notice there's some marks on it already. These actually came in shipping because this came from overseas, and this was the packaging. No bubble wrap, nothing. And this is from Amazon. This was the packaging. So like, I'm actually surprised. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything other than that. I'm actually really surprised that it made it at all, and it wasn't. Like, there was a couple of tears, and that's what the scrapes were from in the end there, you can see. Surprised it made it at all. And these things aren't expensive, so I'm not overly upset about it, and I'm not like I'm going to return it because it's just going to get banged up. But now that I see how it fits, I'm going to turn around and order another one, just so I have two, just in case it gets totally marred up or whatever. Like, I don't really care about getting it banged up, because one of the really important things I think about an ARCA rail, whether it's an Area 419 or whatever, is it's sacrificial and protects your stock, because the stock is ultimately worth more and harder to get than this rail. And so if you have a chassis or a Manus or even a wood stock, it serves a big purpose. And so I think that's really important. So if it gets banged up, I don't care. I'll just put it on another one, right? It's just anodized aluminum. But anyway, that's what they're from. So there's a couple on each end there, and this end's okay. But anyway, so it's like ridiculously strong. And this particular one that I chose had the open face here. And I chose that for a few different reasons. I was thinking actually about like covers, and I don't know, I had a bunch of things going on. And then on the other side is solid kind of like silicone padding. And so it really bites into the stock well, and it's like super, super rigid. I put a little blue Loctite on each of the screws, just a little bit, just to keep it from loosening. And then, excuse me, and from the pictures you saw that I left the screws quite proud in the stock, like not obviously touching the barrel, but I left quite a good bit of meat on them in case I changed my mind about this rail and I want a different type. I have lots of room. I didn't make them super flush, so there's lots of room in the screws to adjust. So just planning in case I change my mind. The rail, like being aluminum, isn't very heavy, so it doesn't really add a lot of weight. So with my bipod, what I did was I had this clamp already from my 457 project, and it's a typical ARCA slide-on clamp. And what I did was I removed the sling swivel hook from the actual bipod, which goes here, and it basically hooks in this mechanism. And I drilled a hole a little bit farther back. That's where the sling stud hook fits through. I drilled a hole, took it apart and drilled a hole with a kind of a large flat 1/4 inch. I think it's a 1/4 inch by 20. Yeah, maybe. I forget now. It's a typical camera stud, and threaded it right in. I put some rubber bushings underneath to fill the void, and this bipod already had a nice thick rubber pad, so it actually bites in really, really well, and not going anywhere. And then, like, again, like, this is a super simple thing to make and build, and super. I think this thing, when I bought it like a couple of years ago, and so I think it was about $15-20 for this clamp, Canadian. And I didn't mention, but this rail was, I think, 30. That's shipped. So $50 into the ARCA system, and like, I've had this bipod for years. I think it's Caldwell. I think it's old. It served me so well that like I probably should replace it. It's a pivot style. I probably should replace it, but I just had it, so I thought, why not? But anyway, so it gives you the ability, and I put this on my right side, but like I can change it. It gives you the ability, of course, to put this on super easily and adjust the position wherever you want. So I'll fold it out. But like, you're on a small platform, bag under you're right on top of the barrel, for instance. And then you need an extended reach, right? You can run it. So like that's easily quite I would say a good couple of inches longer than the longest position on my stock previously. So it gives you like an incredible length for different sized objects, and then anywhere in between, which is super rad. Like it's gonna help because you can set it up before the stage and get it exactly where you want it. The height is definitely increased now. Like it's definitely higher than it was before. So that's something I got to look at because, this was basically on the stock before, and now it's, it's probably a good, I don't think I have a measuring tape in here handy, but it's, it looks to me like it's a good inch. So that definitely changes a few things. Like the bipod is now not a 6x9 anymore. It's a 7x10. So because it doesn't sit as flush as it used to, which can be a benefit and not, but I'll have to play with it a little bit and see. And being kind of a project, I might actually get a correct bipod and clamp for it, like a Atlas, something like that actually is designed for the ARCA rail. But this just works for now, and I'll go play with it like everything else I do and see how it works, see what I like and don't like about it. But being an ARCA rail, I have the ability now for like a bag base. I can do all sorts of things, but for me mainly it was those two things. It was the ability to change the length of and anybody who puts this on, not just me, the ability to change the position of the bipod on the fly, super easy. Look at that, I can't beat it, with dedicated stops at each end. And then the ability with just a couple of flips and she's off and back on when you don't need it. So I can ditch the bipod, not use it, slap it back on in like 5 seconds. So super cheap to do and easy, just with a kind of like an older bipod. So anyway, that's it right now, and that's what it looks like naked, and also offering protection for the stock. So these are two very critical things. But anyway, I could quickly list these up for you guys. So I used some 10x32 by 1/2 stainless screws, which were like probably an inch would have been fine, because I definitely cut about 1/2 inch off of each. I just wasn't sure of the thickness, so 1032 screw is the way to go. And then I picked up a pack of 2 of these, and I only used the one, this guy right there. So that's what I used. You won't need the rail came with the 1/4 inch thumb screws for camera stuff. You won't need those, so that's what they look like. They just thread out. And then the Manners sling studs come out, and they'll go in the box of Manners, fun stuff. But that's it. So you're talking like, like $5-6 for the hardware. Stainless is a little bit of a premium. So $5-6, so basically $60 to get this up and done. You just need simple tools to do it. Some screwdriver bits. I used a quality kind of Forstner bit to drill the hole. But like I saw, I think online, Area 419 used a spade bit, I think. You certainly could. So super cheap, just a couple of drill bits and a drill. And, your wife, who's going to be better at you than doing things, to line that hole up for you. And then away you go. Some Loctite, that sort of thing. Pretty straightforward to do, and I can't wait to try it out. We're gonna try it out this Sunday. But anyway, this is the next step in the process, and I thought I'd show you guys where they're there. These are one of the things that I ordered, which was these are the threaded inserts I was talking about. So I don't know if you can make that out or not, but so these little guys, you drill a hole, you slap it with some epoxy and you press them in, and this gives you basically a mounting point, a threaded mounting point wherever you choose. And in my case, it'll be the thumb ramp or the mag caddy. So basically, that's what you see in the exterior. So super clean, super professional looking thing. It's not like you're, threading blind hole into just a pool of GB Weld kind of thing and hoping for the best. And these are stainless. I think they're 304 stainless. I forget now. But they're high quality. So whenever you're doing something like this, like I'm trying to do a theme where I'm not trying to cut corners on any of the fasteners. I'm using quality fasteners wherever I can to make sure that they're gonna last. Now, like a thumb shelf or even a mag caddy, like once you screw it down and torque it down, it's not really going to go anywhere. But the quality fasteners, I think, are important in this case, in case you catch it on something like a ladder. You're not using something like a brass that'll tear out really easily, whereas you have a steel screw or bolt into a brass insert, you have a risk of stretching those threads. So stainless will give you a little bit more, and like a lot of people would say, the argument would be it would give you a little bit. If the brass is going to fail, it's going to fail. But to get one of those out after it's been epoxied wouldn't be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping to make something just resist some impact. That's my theory anyway. But anyway, so that's what they look like, and they're super cool. And I had purchased some kind of screws to try at my local hardware store, and they're super soft. I don't like them at all. So I'm actually going to order some hex cap screws, stainless, I think, for it. They'll work for now for the trial, but I think because I want a nice uniform look. And like, I didn't even want that. I didn't want the star type. I wanted the wanted hex, but like I went with it. It's all they had the time at the hardware store I was at, so, or the parts store I was at. So anyway, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll do that on these too, but these are going to be definitely much more visible than these. So anyway, I thought I would bring you guys up to date on what I've been playing around with this evening. And I want to thank you guys as always for watching. Any comments or questions, leave them below. And I'll catch you guys at the next one.